Here we go, guys. 2020-2021 school year, and I'm going to be sharing with all of you the plans that my district have in place to be able to go back to school this year. And that's going to happen in less than a week. I have 1 week left of summer, and then I have to be back in school. So we're going to chat a little bit about what the school year is going to look like. We're going to talk through some of the changes that I'm having to make inside of my classroom. And then I need to start unpacking some of the things in my closet to try to start to make this place feel like my classroom again. So let's go ahead, start unloading some of the things from the closets, and let's chat about what this year is going to look like for me. So here's the thing. We're completely coming back to school this year. And this means that we are going to be practicing all of the protocol, all of the requirements that the state of Pennsylvania, the Department of Education has placed onto us. So that means that we have to try to be 3 to 6 feet when feasible. And I like that word, when feasible, because let's be honest, my room isn't big. Like, it's not big at all. And I don't really know how I'm going to be able to have kids 6 feet apart in my classroom. It may look really big on camera, but it's not. So it's a little bit challenging, and I haven't quite figured it out just yet. So not only are we going to be doing that, but we're also going to have breakfast, lunch, special. Everything is going to be in the classroom. And so the kids are going to come in, they're going to have their food here, they're going to have all the learning here, they're going to have their specials here. We are going to be having 2 different recess times, which is going to allow us to go outside to be able to remove our masks, because that's the other thing. Kids have to wear masks all day, and so do I. So I have mine right now just clipped so that in case somebody comes into my room, I have to put it back on. But while I'm in here by myself, I can actually have it removed, which is really beneficial. But when I think about it, I'm gonna be with kids all day. There will be no removing masks. And I don't know about you guys, but I struggle to breathe a little bit with a mask. I haven't quite figured out how to make it all work. Now, I did forget to mention that yes, we are going to be coming back completely in person 5 days a week. However, students have, or parents and students have, the option to be able to choose one of the 3 online formats that we are offering for our kids who have decided to stay home and just continue online learning. So all in all, I have about 28 5th graders, which I'm going to come back to in a moment, but I have about 28 5th graders, and I think I'm down to about 23. So that's 23 kiddos in this classroom. Right now, I only have enough for 20 spaces, and that's 4 feet apart in both directions. Why does it always feel like it's so unbelievably overwhelming just taking out the things from my closet? I feel like I just shoved everything in because I had about, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 hours in order to be able to get my room closed up for the year. And so I was like Mad Woman, just trying to shove everything in all the spaces. So now I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed just looking at all the mess. But here's the other part that's really overwhelming, is that I have to completely change the way that I provide instruction. So you guys know that I'm multi-age. I teach 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. We move and we transition into 3 classrooms all day long. But that's not going to happen this year. There's no movement other than just going outside or coming in and leaving for dismissal. So this means that I'm not going to be able to have my normal multi-age. So we 3 teachers came up together and decided that we were each going to just take a grade level this year, just to make it easier on ourselves. So I'm going to just be teaching 5th grade, but I'll be teaching 5th grade in all content areas. So I'll have them for math, science, social studies, reading, writing, all of the things. But I'm only going to be focusing on 5th grade. It really breaks my heart because now my 6th graders, I'm really not going to have an experience with them. I'm not going to be able to kind of hang out with them like I usually do. And it's just very, very sad. So a lot of things are changing, and it can be very overwhelming, but I have to remember to take it very easy on myself and just remember I'm only going to do my basics. I'm going to start with my basics. I'm going to add on from there, because if I try to put too much on my plate now, it's only going to send me into a spiraling chaos of just craziness, sadness, whatever you want to call it. So that's the thing. Here's our motto, guys. Keep it simple. That's our motto this year. Keep it simple. Now I simply just need to put away everything. So I come up with one of my first dilemmas, guys, and that's what I'm going to do with this. I know I'm going to probably keep that. I might end up just putting that up front. But what do I do with this thing? Like, I'm not going to even use it. There's no small group that's going to end up happening this year. So that needs to find a home for the year. But then I also have that. What's the point? Every kid is going to end up having a desk, so they're going to keep all of the materials in the desk, and the only reason I used that was because I had tables. So now I don't even know what to do with that. And that's classroom, like, community supplies. Again, don't need to have it. So what do I do with it? Trent's going to be really annoyed if I have to bring all this stuff home. So I need to find a place to hide it, or I need to sneak it home, and hopefully he'll never notice. So let's chat a little bit about changes. So here's my door. Welcome to my classroom. Everything is pretty much going to stay the same in the front unless I find that it's just not working and I'm going to have to find a place to be able to put the large bookshelves. That table, that has to go somewhere as well. Ugh. All right. So the biggest change is that I'm not allowed to have any sort of tables. So kids have to stay in desks facing forward in rows. And so that even means that the space that I have back here with the little balls and the little stools, that's not going to work because everybody has to be facing that way. So one of the other biggest changes is that I'm not going to have a small group. So when I turn you guys around, there's not enough space for me to have small group. I'm going to have kids right next to my space in order to accommodate and make sure that kids are kind of social distancing. So that means everybody's going to be taught as an entire whole group because there's also not a ton of movement that's happening inside of my class. It's a lot of changes. I mean, I haven't taught whole groups since kindergarten. So it's going to be a really big change for me. But again, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to try to complicate things and try to work the system and try to figure out a way to do small groups. I'm still going to be a good teacher. I'm going to find different ways and different strategies that's going to allow me to accommodate for my kids and where they are academically. So I'm going to be teaching up there on my stage, which is actually kind of exciting when I think about it because I don't typically teach on my stage. So I've had a call with my design team, and by design team, I mean my husband, and I had to FaceTime him because I'm not allowed to bring anybody into the building with me. I have to come by myself. So that means a lot of like the classroom designs, everything, the layouts, the person that I usually bounce back and forth with is Trent, and he's not here. So I FaceTimed him. But one of the things that I was telling him was about my workspace, and I'm going to show you guys that in a second. But I had this little workspace that's back here, and have used it for the past 4 years, and I love it. Love this little space. However, I am pretty big on not being able. I don't like to have two spaces. I need to have one designated space to be able to keep my things. And if I'm going to be teaching up there, then I should have all my stuff up there. I don't want to move from back and forth because let's just be real. Kids are going to be in my room all day long. I'm not really going to be using a traditional desk like I normally would or this little nook space that I previously had. So I had to rethink some things. And here's what we ended up coming up with. Okay, so like I mentioned, this used to be my workspace. This was my workspace. This was my small group space. So I had the kids pretty much sit just around here. I had my chair here, and this is basically where I did all of my teaching. You can see I have my binders. I have everything that I could possibly have over here. However, with kids here, this would be a child, and actually it's going to be a little bit closer so that I can be able to accommodate 23-ish, 24-ish kiddos. And I'll show you guys that in a second. But in order to accommodate that many kiddos, they're going to be really close to this space. So here's the whole thing. I'm not going to use this space this year. Here is what we have decided. So I am going to use this area to be able to teach, and therefore I'm going to try to house a lot of the things up front. So this means I'm going to be on the stage. I'm going to have a projector here so that I can use the projector so my students in the back can see. The Apple TV, it's just a little bit too small, and it's just really hard for the kids that are seated all the way back here in the very back. So I'm not going to use the Apple TV as much. But instead of getting rid of the round table, I'm actually going to keep my round table. I'm going to use it for my laptop, my iPad. And then I normally just really work out of this cart. I know I have some binders and other things, but I'm just going to put it inside of this closet over here to be able to maintain it so none of the kids are kind of touching it, the ones that are seated back in the very back. So I'm going to move all that stuff, place it into that cabinet, and I'm just going to use this space up here. What do you guys think? You think that's going to work? I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm really hoping it does work. Because I just don't see myself coming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If I'm going to be up front, I want to stay up front. I don't want to have to continuously move all around to get things. It's not what I want to feel like. I felt like I didn't want to redo my classroom this year, and yet somehow now I'm redoing my classroom. All right, let's chat a little bit about desks. So when I first showed you guys my desk situation, I had 4 columns and they had 5 spots or 5 rows in each column. I told Trent that I'm kind of having a hard time because I don't really know where I'm going to fit the extra 3, 4-ish kids if I end up getting more in my room. So here's what we've decided. Because they're not going to be able to sit in these little areas here on the bench, I'm going to go ahead and move the desk all the way close to it. So that allows me to still keep the 4 feet. Let me show you guys how I'm doing that. Okay, so here's essentially how I've been doing it. I've taken a yardstick and essentially they have to be 3 to 6 feet when feasible, okay? So those are the requirements. I can't do 6 feet in this classroom. It's way too small, guys. So instead, what I've decided to do is I've actually been spacing these out, and I think I need to go just a little bit more. Maybe an inch or 2 more than a yardstick, so that when I measure from center of the desk to center of the desk, I'm about 4 feet away from each other. So it's center of the desk to center of the desk, and I do the same thing when we come back this way. So they have about a yardstick on either side, front, back, side to side, separate. Seems to work for me. No one's told me that that's not the right way. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing until one of my head honchos tells me that I need to change it. So I was able to get 23 desks, or I have 23 spots. Again, my desks aren't here. They're gonna be here tomorrow morning. But I think I effectively got 23 spots. That's a win for today, guys. So here's what it looks like. And I started making like some cute little aesthetic tweaks that I'm gonna show you in a second. And I have one more thing before I finally leave because I'm getting really sweaty and hot. But now I have everyone from the center of the desk to the center of the desk 4 feet apart. So that's gonna work out perfectly. Do I like this? No, in fact, I hate it. I think it looks ugly. But it's what I have to do in order to make this year work. So I'm happy that I was able to do that. And it's looking pretty good so far. Again, I'm gonna remove all the things from here so that the kids are not touching it. That little plastic bin thing, I'm gonna have to take it out. So again, one of my students isn't sitting there playing with the stuff that's in the back. And I'm gonna have to find a home for it. So we'll figure that part out whenever we get there. So let's kind of turn around to the front. Look at my little area. I love how I set up my area first because that's super important. So I have my table, I have my laptop, I have my school iPad, and then I have my inbox bins, including my work that they submit. So any sort of assessment or paperwork that I'm just gonna have to end up grading, that's my grading bin over there. I like it. I think it looks really cute. So there you go, guys. I am incredibly out of breath after that, but that is what it looks like. What do you think? Do you like that space? Do you think that this is going to end up working? For those of you who are already teaching in the classroom and you are already doing this, let me know. Tell me down in the comments and give me an idea if I'm just reaching for the stars or if I finally landed on the moon. All right, I'm really tired. All right, guys, I am officially sweaty and tired, and I'm ready to go home. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. I hope that you have some sort of a general idea of what my year is going to end up looking like this year. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll be looking at them. I will answer those for you there. And let me know what you think about this space. I'm serious, guys. I really want to know what you think about it. So leave that down in the comments. So guys, thank you so much for watching this little back to school vlog, right? Like, this is what this is. Can't believe I'm doing it. But I hope that you enjoyed it. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are not already subscribed. I have all sorts of videos about literacy and just education and multi-age. And so if you find yourself in any of those things that you're like, oh, I dig that, I'm really interested, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I go live or when I upload a new video. Thank you all, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.